She thought she was just tired after a long day. He thought the headache would pass on its own. The family decided to wait, to observe, to see if it got better. They waited hours before going to the hospital. By then, the damage was permanent. This is what a stroke looks like in homes all over the world, and most families have no idea what they are dealing with until it's too late. Hello dear viewers, welcome back to the channel Basic Home First Aid. What I just described is not a rare story, it is happening right now in homes across Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Brazil, India, France, and every corner of this world. And most dangerous thing about a stroke is not the stroke itself, it is the waiting. Most people see the signs and think, let us observe. Maybe it is tiredness. Maybe it is high blood pressure acting up. Let us wait until morning. That waiting is costing lives everywhere. Globally, someone has a stroke every 40 seconds and someone dies from a stroke every 3 minutes. Over the past 30 years, the number of strokes worldwide has increased by 70% and stroke deaths have risen by 43%, and the burden is not shared equally. Almost 90% of all deaths and disability from stroke occur in lower income countries, particularly in Sub-Saharan Africa and Asia. Studies across African countries found that half of stroke patients waited 31 hours or more before arriving at the hospital after their stroke. Whether you are watching this from Africa, Europe, or anywhere else in the world, the lesson is the same. Every minute you wait costs the brain more than you can imagine. So what exactly is happening inside the brain during a stroke? A stroke happens when blood flow to part of the brain is suddenly cut off, either by a blockage in a blood vessel or a burst blood vessel that bleeds into the brain. Without blood, brain cells are immediately starved of oxygen and they begin to die. Every single minute a stroke goes untreated, the average person loses 1.9 million neurons. Each hour without treatment, the brain loses as many neurons as it does in almost 3.6 years of a normal aging. This is why doctors around the world say time is brain. The most effective treatment for the most common type of stroke must be given within 4.5 hours of symptoms onset. Beyond that window, the risk of irreversible brain damage, disability, and death increases dramatically. Whether you live 5 minutes from a world-class hospital or 2 hours from the nearest clinic, the clock starts the moment the first symptom appears, and what you do at home in those first minutes determines everything. Now, how do you actually recognize a stroke? Because this is where most people fail, not because they do not care, but because a stroke often looks like something far less serious. There's a simple tool anyone can use anywhere in the world with no medical training at all. It is called the FAST method. F stands for face, so ask the person to smile. Does one side of their face droop or look uneven? Does one side feel numb? That is a warning sign. A stands for arms. Ask them to raise both arms in front of them. Does one arm drift downward or feel weak? That is a warning sign. S stands for speech. Ask them to repeat a simple sentence. Is their speech slow, slurred, confused, or impossible to understand? That is a warning sign. T stands for time. If you see any of these signs, act immediately. Call for emergency help and get to a hospital. Every minute counts. You do not need to be certain. You do not need to see all 3 signs. Even one of these signs is enough to act right now. Now let me tell you the mistakes that cost lives, because this happens in every country and every culture in the world. The first mistake is waiting to observe. There's no time to wait. Every minute of hesitation destroys more brain cells permanently. Act immediately. The second mistake is giving food, water, or any drink. Never give a stroke patient anything by mouth. A stroke affects swallowing and they can choke on even a sip of water. Thirdly, giving medication or home remedies before going to the hospital. Whether it is aspirin, herbal medicine, or any traditional remedy, do not give anything before a doctor has seen the patient. It can make certain types of strokes significantly worse. Another mistake is letting them sleep it off. A person experiencing a stroke should never wait to see if symptoms improve or sleep it off. Immediate medical care can save a life and limit disabilities. The last but not the least mistake is assuming it is minor because symptoms seem mild. Even a mini stroke known as a transient ischemic attack produces the same symptoms as a full stroke and is equally a medical emergency. Call for help immediately even if symptoms seem to pass. So here's exactly what you do the moment you suspect a stroke. If emergency services or ambulance are available, call your emergency number immediately. If no ambulance is available, use whatever is available, a car, a motorbike, taxi, a neighbor's vehicle, and go to the nearest hospital or clinic right now. Even a small clinic can stabilize the patient while arranging transfer to a bigger facility. Note the exact time symptoms started. Write it on your phone. The doctor will need this. Keep the person calm. Do not leave them alone. Give nothing by mouth. No water, no food, no herbal medicine, no tablet. If the person is unconscious but breathing, place them gently on their side. This is called the recovery position to prevent choking. If they stop breathing, begin CPR immediately. If you don't yet know how to do CPR, watch our video on how to perform CPR effectively. So stroke does not choose a country. It does not choose an age, a religion, or a social class. It strikes in the most powerful cities in the world as well as in the most remote villages in the world. But what determines whether someone survives and survives well is almost always the same thing: how fast the people around them acted. You now know the fast method. You now know what to do whether an ambulance is coming or not. You know the mistakes that steals lives. Share this video with your family. Put it in your WhatsApp group. Show it to your parents and grandparents. Send it to every person you love, because the person who needs this information might not find it in time unless you send it to them today. Stay safe, stay prepared, and I will see you in the next one. Never forget this. If not you, who?